All right, welcome back to the next video here, and where we left off is in the game. Oh, sorry, oh, even more. So yeah, Shadowrun here, running. We have one action point. Hit Alt Tab. Then go to Cheat Engine. You can see we have one value left based on our filtration in the previous video. Down to one. We can immediately start putting values in here. We're gonna quick A side. We're gonna delete these first two because we no longer have use for them. We could keep the 622 floating around if we wanted to mess with the karma of our character, but we already know how to find that value and modify it and whatnot. So I'm not gonna really care about that. I'm gonna focus strictly on what we're interested in this video, and that's action points. Or at least at this point, it's action points. So we have a value of 1. It's great. Again, we can start putting values in just to see if it works. But let's just, we're going to, again, it's all about the environment and controlling the environment. So before we start doing that, let's see if we can maybe get rid of one more of these guys with the other NPCs that we have that we're controlling. And let's see, you got 50% chance. Can we aim or something like that? Yeah, you know what? Spray and pray. Why not? I love it. That'll do. All right, so we're down to 1. Again, we can go back, start putting values in, but I'm actually gonna move my character one more time just to make sure to watch this value go down to 0, and then watch it reset to 2, which is what it should be. So um, values 1. Gonna move here. We're not gonna shoot anybody. We're just gonna move. So the enemy has a turn. You can see it's decremented down to 0. Some guys are starting to roll in this direction. It's great. Comes back, gives us control back. We have 2 action points, and let's see what we got here. Value goes back to 2. All right, so we know maybe we don't know, but we certainly suspect that we have the same value or the right value. So we have it to 2. Let's set it to something crazy. 999. Anyone? All right, there we go. 99. That'll do. It's an absurd amount of action points. So it's not going to immediately reflect over here for reasons that we talked about before. We have to force this interface to update in some way. So we could click the PDA, unclick the PDA. Does it update the value in the upper right? It does. So that's great. Another way that we might update the PDA. Let's oh, that's not what I want to do. So go back here. Go back to Cheat Engine. Let's change the value to something else. Let's sort of mess around with the constraints and find out what's going to make this value update and what is not going to make this value update. So we changed the value to 55, clicked on the PDA. We know that clicking opening and closing the PDA forces this part of the interface to refresh and recalculate the values by reading from memory. So let's just select another team member. Just by clicking on another team member, we see this value change to 55. So again, Alt Tab back to Cheat Engine, changes to 33. This value is being changed, or 33. This value is being changed in real time. It's just that the interface for Shadowrun, and this is certainly not specific to Shadowrun or Cheat Engine, the interface will not update until you force it to recalculate the value. We talked about this in a previous video, so I'm going to assume that we're all on the same page as far as this goes. I'm going to hit Tab, which is essentially Tab is a hotkey for selecting another character or the next character. Hit Tab, see it updates to 33. It's great. We know we have the right value, so let's start spending our action points. We're gonna move just 1. We're not gonna get crazy and scroll way the hell over here and start spending action points like it's going out of style. We're just gonna it's all about environment and controlling it, and we're just playing around right now to see what we can and what we can't do, and the constraints that are imposed on us by the logic of the game. So we're gonna click here so we can spend 1 action point, but it's possible the game has a hard cap that basically says oh, you can't have more than 10 action points, and if you do, then it's gonna immediately round down. This is not unheard of. In fact, it's quite common that values in a game, regardless of the data type or anything that we've talked about before, games just impose certain artificial constraints on values. So again, we're going to spend 1 action point, see what happens. We click there. Our action points go down to 1. What's that about? Well, and click here. Let's see if we can reproduce the behavior rather. Set the value to 25. Spend 1 more. it says negative 23 action points. Now, what's that about? Well, we can sort of think about it, mess around, go through some menus, but basically what's going on, after, with me messing around with it, I sort of figured this out, is the action pool is 2, and so you have 2 points is the max amount of action points that you can have as a character. If you set the value any higher than that, and then you actually spend one, it's going to basically lock that value under that. So again, going back into the PDA, click here, action pool is 2. What did we set the value to before? We set it to 25 just to reproduce that. Hit 25, go back into the game, spend 1 point, subtracts 23. It's awesome. So we're kind of proving the theory here. Let's set it to 30. Go here. Now, if the theory is correct, we'll spend 1 action point and it will subtract 28 AP. You can see right there, minus 28 AP. The theory is right. We're thinking along logical lines. The game is in line, or our theory is in line with what the game's internal logic is. So let's say that we wanted to move, we wanted to give ourselves infinite movement. We could just change this to something, what's the action pool max is 2. So we're going to do that. We're going to click this button over here, active, or you could right click on it. Let's get rid of show assigned. We don't really want to do that, but let's see, is there a button for we can be a little more explicit about what we're trying to do here? No. So when you click this button over here on the left, it's going to freeze the value so that even when the game comes in and tries to access this value and increment it or decrement it, as the case may be, depending on the circumstances, Cheat Engine is basically going to be like, no, can't do that. I'm going to set the value to 2, and the value is always going to be 2. So if this is all working and we have everything in line, then we will spend some action points and our AP will never go down. We will have infinite AP. So you can see I just moved. I still have 1 action point. I'm continuing to move. Doesn't matter what I do. As far as action points go, I'm essentially have unlimited. Let's change this value to something crazy like 5. So again, we're over because we changed the value to 5, we are over the action pool limit of our character. So every time we move, the game is going to tell us that it's subtracting 3 AP. You can see that here. It's not just every movement per se, it's every step as the game recalculates the value. So you can see negative 3 AP. I mean, it's very straightforward, but it doesn't matter. We essentially have, what are we doing here? How's that? What's going on? It's supposed to have infinite movement, but we have things happening. It's unfortunate. It's probably a scripted event, if I had to guess. So, let's see here. We have it locked. It's going to 5. Why is it not locking? That's a good question. Let's see if we can figure this out. Let's see. The value is 5. Previous value is 1. We set the value to 55. It's great. Does this value actually change? So we're going to spend our last action point. 53 AP. It's awesome. So we still have the right value. We're doing a little troubleshooting here. Can we freeze this? Is there any more specific way we can just tell it freeze this value? I don't know. Let's try that. We do that. Do a bit of that. Every time we take a step, subtracting 53 AP. So we know the value of 55 is in fact being frozen in the memory. Let's shoot this dude and see what happens. We shoot him. We shoot him again. We have 55. Let's walk around a little bit. In case anyone is interested in the actual game, there's a med kit up here that you can grab. You see it there. So I don't know why we got out of sync there. You can see it just switched over to 0 and back to 55. There's, again, you're messing around with values like this. There's always a little bit of weirdness going on. You have to be careful. Oh, we're out of ammo, so we can reload. Doesn't matter what it takes us. Let's reload. Let's hose this guy. He's hosed. So again, when you're messing around with dynamic values that change, on sort of a per turn basis, it pays to be aware. different things, and just because you momentarily get out of sync, it's no cause to go back into Cheat Engine, or or jump on the forums or something and be like, oh my god, it's not working. Just take a deep breath, think about what you're doing. Um, do a couple more tests. In this case, it's still subtracting 53 AP every time we move, so we know that it's still pulling the value of our action points for our player from this memory location right here. So, again, click here, 53 AP, 53 AP. It's great. Shoot home slice here. Shoot him again. Shoot brother man, or sister girl, as the case may be. If you're a fan of Undercover Brother, we're gonna reload. Shoot him again. Yep. All right. So, anyway, as far as the game is concerned, that event is over. That scripted event is over. We've demonstrated how to find the AP and how to basically make the player's AP unlimited. And if we restart the game or we go to another encounter, this value that we have here, what is it, 25BE9514. If we just keep playing the game, we'll just do that. This value will probably not. I can't speak for in any certain with any certainty, but if I had to guess, this value is probably not going to be the action points for our character for the rest of the game. We'll uncheck the active box there. So if we load a different encounter or we get involved in combat again in the game, we'll have to go back and sort of repeat the process of finding the value for the action points. It's a little annoying, but until we get into pointers and stuff like that, this is sort of the price you pay. You have to find the value every time, and you set that value. You do a little troubleshooting, and then you get to the point. And we could easily repeat this process for any of the characters. If we wanted to, select I forget her name, but if we selected Sam and we came back out here and let's say Sam had 2 action points, we could scan for 2 and then find it and then have Sam move and then scan for 1 or whatever the case may be. So this is not a method that's limited to the player character. Any selected unit or any unit that we're interested in, we could pretty much control the action point value and find that value and go from there. So in the next video, I think maybe we'll probably look towards finding health as a value for our player, and we'll go from there.